Decades ago, in the dim and distant past of 1995, a cursed board game entered film history. Today, that game is back. Is it just as good as it was? Who knows? This is Jumanji. Welcome to the jungle. Okay, enough of that. I don't want to get flagged. So anyway, Jumanji is a sequel to the original 95 film. And honestly, it's pretty good. The game actually evolves from a board game to a video game. That was honestly kind of clever. That, to me, says that the game is a living creature, which, honestly, I always thought it was. This time, the characters that get sucked in are basically a typical cowardly nerd, an introverted, antisocial redhead, attention hog who's totally self-absorbed and obsessed with her camera, and a jock who basically takes advantage of the cowardly nerd. Technically they were friends, but he sort of takes advantage of the relationship. And they end up as the typical action video game hero, the typical Lara Croft type hero, and two comedy relief characters. They go through the standard arc to become better people, blah, blah, blah. Basically, they're meant to be avatars for the viewer. You know, what would I do in that situation? But The Rock, Karen Gillan, Jack Black, and Kevin Hart really put a lot of effort into their characters, so they don't feel like empty shells or blank slates. The action? Straight out of a Hollywood stunt show. I mean, you got explosions, you got motorcycles, you got guns going off, you got characters running, jumping, doing everything, and it's all practically done. Like 90% of the stunts I've seen were practically done. That made it so much better. Not to mention all the locales. We were in real jungle. There were a few CG matte paintings, and there was this marketplace that felt like it was right out of Indiana Jones. It was so well done. The animals, they were all CG, with maybe a few puppets here and there. But those were honestly forgivable, because the main focus was on the characters and their basic locations. And honestly, they did a really good job with it. The Rock, he really did feel like a fish out of water. A nerd forced into the body of a hero. An introvert who's supposed to be a kickboxer, basically. A jock and a quote-unquote pretty girl who suddenly find themselves as comedy relief. They really gave it their all, and they fit the parts really well. I mean, The Rock is a master of self-depreciating humor. They were all masters of self-depreciating humor. And the story itself, it was so well paced. There was plenty of action, but quiet moments to break things up. But at 2 hours, I didn't feel like that I was there for very long. It was so quick. but in a good way. Like, you know how it takes forever to do something you hate, but something you love gets done like that? That's how it was. Also, there were quite a few callbacks to the original movie. Like, we finally get to see a few locations that were sort of alluded to in the first film. We get a character who I can't really talk about, but it's a blast to hear them talk. And the villain is both familiar and unfamiliar. He's also a classic bad villain who's just the right amount of amusing and intimidating. Bottom line, Jumanji: Welcome to the Jungle is a decent sequel. It was silly fun. It's something the whole family can enjoy. And if you're a die-hard fan of the original, you'll find things to like about the sequel. Mr. J, signing out.